WCBI News at 10 starts now.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Quentin Smith. A Starkville man sits behind bars tonight accused of committing a sex crime. The Oktibbeha County Sheriff's Department arrested 36-year-old George Fair. He's charged with one count of sexual battery. Fair's bond is set at $100,000. The man wanted in a child abuse investigation in Lowndes County is now behind bars. 22-year-old Anthony Dion Gilmore is charged with child abuse. Last week, investigators asked the public's help to find Gilmore. His bond has been set at $25,000. Panic and tension spread by rumors and social media once again grip an area high school. On Friday, the Choctaw County Sheriff's Office responded to Choctaw County High School after rumors spread of an active shooter on campus. Now, according to investigators, what they found instead was students bullying a new student and spreading false accusations that quickly circulated in the community. Deputies received a call from a parent that a student brought weapons on campus and had a duffel bag that weighed 40 pounds. Investigators searched the bag. It was filled with clothes. The Sheriff's Department says adults were spreading the student's full name and rumors on social media, which they believe made matters worse. Now, deputies expressed their disappointment with the community's lack of trust in the educational department and in law enforcement. There is new information about a gun investigation at Caledonia High School. Investigators say they were allowed to search the boy's room with his parents' permission and found a handgun, an old bullet-resistant vest, and a small amount of ammunition. The juvenile was taken to youth court and is now no longer in school. Deputies later learned the gun should have been logged into evidence at the Sheriff's Department about 10 years ago, but it wasn't handled as it should have been. In the press release, the Sheriff's Department says the gun was at one time in possession of a former deputy. Now, multiple sources tell WCBI that former deputy is Eli Perrigan. Now, Perrigan recently resigned from the agency just one day before being arrested for a misdemeanor domestic violence charge. An investigation regarding the gun will be presented to the next Lowndes County grand jury. The school massacre that left 17 Florida students dead has an Alabama lawmaker considering a bill to arm teachers. Representative Will Ainsworth of Guntersville introduced the bill in the Alabama State House yesterday. Our Victoria Bailey speaks with Alabama residents and law enforcement to find out what they think about the possibility of this move.
We're going to have some real serious discussions about it before we should just start letting everybody bring a gun to school.
It's a bill generating conversation throughout the state. Alabama lawmaker Will Ainsworth of Marshall County proposed a bill that would give teachers the option to carry a firearm while on the job. But Lamar County Sheriff Hal Allred says maybe we should take a moment to consider before allowing any and everyone to tote.
If you had a certain designated people to have them and had the proper training such as firearms retention, active shooter training and stuff like that, that would be, I think, would be better than just everybody packing their pistol.
Under the proposed bill, teachers would be enabled to act with their firearm in the event of a life-threatening situation. But Alabama resident and parent Shauna Hawthorne says it poses the question of
whether or not they are willing to put themselves in harm's way. I don't know if there would be a benefit because the laws that they would put around that is not going to make it as accessible as, you've got someone entering the school with a weapon, ready to do harm, and where does that put the teacher? Are they able to access their weapon and load it before anyone in their classroom gets hurt or they get shot themselves?
An amendment introduced Wednesday would require any teacher and administration who opted to carry be required to go through 40 hours of training through the Alabama Peace Officers Standard Commission. Allred says standard training may not be enough.
They'd have to have some really specialized training because you can go out and shoot at a paper target, but the paper target's not shooting back.
Hawthorne says maybe guns aren't the answer, but something must be done.
There's a lot of schools in larger cities that have security guards that are armed standing at the doors. They've got metal detectors that you got to walk through. They've got wands that they're wanding the kids with. We don't have that in our county.
Now, if passed, the state would pay for the mandatory training. However, teachers and administrators would be responsible for the purchase of the firearms and the ammunition. And it's now time to get a first look at our weather. Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson is standing by with the first look at our forecast. Keith?
Well, right now in downtown Tupelo, we have some wet weather. You can see that with our Alpha Insurance camera network. Widespread showers across northern and northwestern Mississippi. Farther to the southeast, not a lot going on in the Golden Triangle area. There's this frontal boundary in place. To the northwest of that, it is cooler, it is wetter. To the southeast, it is warmer, it is drier. That boundary will shift back to the north a little bit more so tomorrow. We're still looking at low 80s down here in the Golden Triangle area on Thursday, probably low to mid 70s up north. The better rain chances north and west of the Golden Triangle area as well. Your full forecast in just a few minutes.
Thanks so much, Keith. A leading figure in the world of Christian evangelism has died. The Reverend Billy Graham was known as America's pastor and ministered to millions of people across the world. He passed away this morning at his home in North Carolina at the age of 99. Courtney Ann Jackson spoke with some Mississippians who say Graham had a major impact on their lives.
Belhaven President Dr. Roger Parrott worked for Billy Graham from 1985 to 89. As he was planning events to bring together evangelicals from around the world, he had a 2-hour one-on-one meeting with Graham where the Reverend asked to pray for him.
I'm bowing my head, I'm sitting on the couch, I'm praying, and it starts to get muffled. And I look up and he's stretched out on the floor, praying with an earnestness that was remarkable. And that was Billy. It wasn't for show.
Of course, those personal encounters with Graham weren't the norm. Even still,
He could speak in front of crowds, but people always felt like he was talking to them. And it was a remarkable gift.
he held his first crusade in Jackson in 1952, and this is footage from when Reverend Graham was in Jackson in 1975. Bishop Ronnie Crudup remembers attending that crusade.
It was like nothing I had ever been a part of before. And once again, it just really spoke to me that, you know, this is a little touch of heaven. This is what it's supposed to be about, that in Christ Jesus, everything else is secondary.
That's why the news of Graham's death is bittersweet for Crudup.
You not heard me say, we lost Dr. Graham. You only lose those things. You don't know where they are. We know where he is. He's in heaven.
Dr. Samuel Thompson started preaching when he was 16 and admits he often watched Graham for ideas and inspiration.
He was human just like everybody else, but yet God had something in him and God used him greatly. And I think he can do the same thing for us, but I really think it's, you know, I don't think we'll quite find another one like him, not during my lifetime.
Your first alert forecast with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson.
Look at this. Japanese magnolias in full bloom in Columbus. Several days of record warmth. We'll do that in February. So spring has sprung, at least temporarily, because eventually we'll have to cool things down a little bit, but still several more days of warm weather. That is our Alpha Insurance camera network. Vernon, Tupelo, Columbus, showing the clouds moving on through our region today. Right now, we still have a little bit of wet weather for you in Tupelo, up towards Boonville and the Tennessee state line, and over towards Oxford and Batesville, out to the Delta as well. Not too much in the Golden Triangle area. I don't think we will see too much more down here in the Columbus area. The better rain chances tonight and tomorrow, generally north and west of the Natchez Trace Parkway, and that's where we are still expecting the best potential for a decent amount of accumulation here, 1 to 2 inches of rain possible later tonight into tomorrow. Again, not a lot going on down in the Columbus area or points south and east. So that's the way it's looking for the near term. Here's Futurecast picking up on the showers right now, mainly concentrated to our north and west tomorrow morning for the commute at 8 o'clock. Probably not a lot going on in the southeast, but there will still be a pretty good chance for some showers with a thunderstorm or two in the northern and western parts of the viewing area. That's with that boundary we talked about in the first weather segment. That will start to lift back to the north during the day, so the rain chances will really start to migrate back to the north. Still can't rule out an isolated shower or two farther southeast. Same story Friday too. Better rain chances north and west. Not too much going on south and east, but that's the general gist of things as we go throughout the near-term forecast. A few showers possible on Friday as well, but most of that will be confined to our north. Now, in the Columbus area, 70 at 8 o'clock, 78 at noon, 81 at 3, 75 at 6. A very warm winter day Those of you in Tupelo and Oxford and Ripley and Calhoun City, a little bit cooler during the day, but as that boundary shifts back to the northwest, you will start to warm up those temperatures a little bit, but it won't be as warm as your friends and family down in the Golden Triangle area or southern Mississippi or southern Alabama. Extremely warm again, low and mid 80s south and east of that boundary. So it will start to shift back to the north tomorrow and Friday, and then swing back through here on Saturday evening and Saturday night. With that front, Saturday evening, Saturday night, we could see another round of some strong to severe storms in the region. So that's the gist of things here as we go throughout the next couple of days. The best chance for any strong storms will be Saturday evening. Until then, scattered rain chances, warm and humid.
All right, thank you so much, Keith. Meteorologists often study weather because of a true love and passion for the science. But for one meteorologist, his story goes deeper than that. He hasn't let personal challenges cloud his passion for weather. In fact, he's turned it into a way of life. Jacob Dickey has the story.
7 years ago, the town of Smithville was nearly wiped off the map by an EF5 tornado. The 205 miles per hour winds left little chance for survival for people in its direct path. The tornado raced through Smithville at 70 miles per hour. In 10 seconds, Smithville was gone. For one local Smithville resident, this tornado has deeper meaning. Meet Johnny Parker. He's a local hero, a meteorologist, and a celebrity in the town of less than 500 people. Johnny's family was caught in the middle of the tornado. They survived, but others were not so lucky.
I just felt I'm helpless, and I also felt that I had not done as good a job as I needed.
Johnny also has cerebral palsy.
I had a speech impairment.
But he has not let that stop him.
I learned how to overcome.
Growing up, Johnny found his passion for the weather.
Johnny was fascinated by a big apple tree in our yard where he and his sister used to have a swing when they were little bitty kids. Big storm came through, blew it down, and he couldn't believe that the wind, when I told him the wind knocked the tree down, it was amazing to him that the wind could have that much power.
Before the 2011 tornado, he founded Parker's Weather Service. He provides local forecasts and alerts to friends, neighbors, and teachers at school through text and email. Those texts became a vital source of information in the town before the tornado passed through. The last text he sent, "Get to a safe place now." Minutes later, the tornado plowed through town. Following the tornado, Parker graduated from Mississippi State with his degree in meteorology. He currently runs a popular radar program and still keeps up texting out daily forecasts. His forecasts go all around the world. Reporting from Smithville, I'm meteorologist Jacob Dickey, WCBI News.
WCBI Severe Weather Safety Tips are brought to you by Lee's Storm Shelters and Caldwell Banker West Realty Company.
Welcome back, everyone. Heart disease is the leading cause of death for both men and women in the U.S. Now, that's the bad news, but there is some good news. There are things you can do to lower your risk. We find out more in tonight's Health Talk with Baptist.
Hi, I'm Dr. John King, part of the cardiology team at Baptist Memorial Hospital, Golden Triangle. Tonight I want to talk to you about the risk factors for a heart attack. A heart attack occurs when a blockage in a coronary artery becomes severe enough to stop oxygen from reaching part of the heart muscle. Certain risk factors contribute to the unwanted buildup of fatty deposits that cause these blockages in the arteries throughout your body. You can improve or eliminate some of these risk factors to reduce your chances of having a first or subsequent heart attack. Others, such as age or family history, are out of your control. The most common risk factors are age. Men age 45 or older and women age 55 and older are more likely to have a heart attack. Tobacco, smoking, and long-term exposure to secondhand smoke can increase your risk of a heart attack. High blood pressure. High blood pressure can damage the arteries that feed your heart. High blood cholesterol or triglyceride levels. Diabetes, family history. If your siblings, parents, or grandparents have had early heart attacks, you may be at increased risk. Lack of physical activity, obesity, stress, illegal drug use. Using stimulant drugs such as cocaine or amphetamines can trigger a spasm of your coronary arteries that can cause a heart attack. Join us next time for Health Talk with Baptist, when we will discuss how a heart attack is treated.
Mail your topic suggestions to healthtalk@wcbi.com. Health Talk has been brought to you by Baptist Memorial Hospital Golden Triangle.
When it comes to division, sometimes the answer is coming together. That's one of the lessons from our Educator of the Week, Autumn Bankhead. She teaches 5th grade at Oklahoma Elementary School, and in her class, you can expect a lot of long division and group work to get it done. For Bankhead, the best part about teaching is getting that light bulb moment from her students.
I love that students can collaborate. You are able to dig a little deeper and find an answer that maybe was on the cusp, and then when someone else says that, then, oh yeah, now I got it. Right. I love those aha moments.
And if you would like to nominate an outstanding teacher, just visit our website at WCBI.com. The Bulldogs look to turn a new page in the program with a midweek win. Highlights from Jackson next in sports.
WCBI's Educator of the Week is brought to you by Food Giant, where your neighbors are the owners. WCBI Sports with Tom Ebel.
Time to turn a very short page from Mississippi State baseball. Andy Cannizzaro is out, and in only the 4th game of the 2018 season, the Bulldogs try to move on and put up win number 1. Mississippi State pitching coach Gary Henderson, now the interim head coach. Tonight's game started an hour and 15 minutes late due to a whole bunch of rain. But once the game got into action, Bulldogs scored twice in the 1st inning, and in the bottom half, Tigers with a runner on second. Francis DeJesus draws a walk, but Steven Vidal in trouble on the base paths. Bulldogs able to pick up an easy out. To the 4th inning, same score, not anymore. Hunter Vansaw, an absolute moonshot to right field. Sayonara solo shot, his first of the year. It's 3-0 Bulldogs. Let's keep racking it up. Still in the 4th, bases loaded. Rowdy Jordan to right. 2-run score on the play, and the lead is now 5-0 Mississippi State. They scored 3 times in the inning, and in the very next inning, more long balls on a night in Jackson. Tanner Poole, Amory native with 2 runners on. Bye-bye. 3-run shot to left, his first of the year. At last check, the score is 11-1. This game is not final. They're in the 9th inning, in the top of the 9th. We'll give you the final score coming up tomorrow on Sunrise. But, of course, last check, 11-1, Mississippi State is your leader. 12-1 now, actually, excuse me. We'll go back on that. It's 12-1 Mississippi State. But to college basketball, Auburn takes down Alabama to take Iron Bowl bragging rights. Auburn had 7 or 8 guys available tonight because of injuries and other stuff going on. But how about Bruce Pearl turning around the Auburn Tigers to be a top 25 program and leading the SEC by multiple games? We're 1 week away from the state tournament in Jackson, and our area teams are vying for a spot with a win this week. The Columbus girls and boys basketball teams won the district championship last week and clinched a first-round bye in the playoffs. Our Jonathan Flippo has more with our student athletes of the week.
Kids started to buy into what we were doing, and now this is the result of some hard work that our girls have put in and our coaching staff.
The Columbus girls basketball team have won 8 straight games and are playing well at the right time with postseason play looming. This past week, the girls won the district tournament for the first time since 2016.
It actually feels great because that shows me that we really can make it to the state playoffs and bring the gold ball home.
We knew that we needed to win it in order for us to get a good seeding. And so we went up there and became district champs.
After winning the district title, the Lady Falcons clinched a first-round bye in the playoffs, and the team says it helps them to have extra time to prepare for their opponent.
It helps us to keep on working on what we got to do so we can win.
Anytime you can come back here and play at home, we're real excited. You know, we're just really hard to beat in Columbus.
Columbus has never won a state championship in girls basketball. Coach Hairston hopes this year can be the year.
I won one as a player, but I've never, been able to coach one. So hopefully this year will be our year.
While the Lady Falcons are preparing for a playoff run, the Columbus boys basketball team is preparing for a playoff run as well after winning the district championship last week. The team has reeled off 12 straight wins, and now they feel like they're playing their best basketball.
I think we've been doing a good job, so we're right where we need to be. It's still some things we got to fine tune in these playoffs.
I feel like we are. We're getting to that point where we're gelling pretty good, so I feel like we're going pretty steady right now.
Columbus boys hasn't made it to the state tournament since they won the whole thing back in 2016. But Woodard feels this team can get back and make a run.
We really can. You know, we've been doing pretty good as a team. Had some adversity at first, but other than that, you know, I feel like we're going pretty downhill.
While it's been 2 years since the Falcons won it all, Coach Carlisle took home a gold ball last year at Velma Jackson. But his focus is on the games ahead of him.
When you coaching, man, you know, you don't think about the ones you've done in the past. The only thing that matters is the one that's right now, what's in front of you.
Columbus girls will host on Friday night at 7 in the second round of the playoffs, and the Columbus boys will host on Saturday night at 7 in the second round of the playoffs. In Columbus, Jonathan Flippo, WCBI Sports.
WCBI Student Athlete of the Week with Jonathan Flippo is brought to you by C Spire Wireless.
And that does it for sports with the last year forecast coming up next.
Some wet weather across our northern and western counties out towards Oxford and Ripley. That's really where the best chance of rain is going to be tonight and probably for a good chunk of tomorrow too. Farther southeast, not a lot of rain. It will be warm. In the Columbus area, we're looking at some low 80s for Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Now, we all have the chance for some stronger storms Saturday evening. We'll keep you updated.
So we're looking at 4 days of rain, back to back.
Not all-day rain, but chances.
Chances. Oh, don't
Sorry,
like
man.
it. I don't like it. Thanks so much for tuning in with us. We hope you have a good night.